When summer is slowly saying goodbye, the weather is getting cold and foggy, and spooky Halloween twilight season is upon us. It is time for music that fits the ambience, and who is better at making this type of music than Lykke? For all of those who don't know her, first of all, how dare you? And second, she is an acclaimed singer from Sweden, one who in her early 20s and with her first 3 albums shaped the sad girl community like barely any other artist did. She is on the same level as alternative music peers such as Lana Del Rey, Lorde, and Mitski, and she deserves so much more recognition and love for her work in my opinion, which is why I am making this video. Lykke was born in Sweden in 1986. As the child of a photographer and a music maker, she traveled the world a lot when she was little, oftentimes living in trailer park vans, on mountain rooftops in all kinds of cities and places according to the year's seasons. When she was 19 she moved to New York, sang in bars and returned to Sweden 2 years later with a record deal, to work on her debut album Youth Novels. While I did enjoy her debut album retrospectively, to be fully honest here, I haven't heard of her before the release of her sophomore album, her undeniable magnum opus, Wounded Rhymes. The internet was not as omnipresent after all back then, but anyways, believe me you when I tell you that this album has got me through some tough sheesh in 2011 and 2012, heartbreak, abuse, loneliness, being an adolescent who was misunderstood and scrutinized over nothing, etc. I think it is safe to say that there are many things I am good at, but being a person desired romantically is probably not one of them, and although I don't care too much about it and the superficial standards back in the day were way lower, back when I first encountered Lykke's music in the Twilight sequel New Moon, I fell terribly in love with an exchange student from France, but as you can imagine it sadly never worked out due to sexual preference incompatibilities. I remember that Possibility song being my soundtrack for the entire time after my love interest left, and I walked these empty school halls and town walks without that person, being grateful but also heartbroken, reminiscing of that person and fantasizing about what could have been. But enough of the sentimental story time. If you are ever in need of an outstanding record to fill your foggy autumn with gut-wrenching blows, weeping understanding and heartfelt hugs, this record is your top pick. Okay, right here I have to admit that her third album I Never Learn, which is of a similar tone and atmosphere, is a great record too, but I simply prefer Wounded Rhymes for its more spontaneous and raw nature. Wounded Rhymes was her first deep dive into a darker and gloomier territory. In Wounded Rhymes you follow a young Swedish woman with a disillusioned outlook on life for the very first time. Wounded Rhymes is pure and unapologetic and nothing but authentic, whereas I Never Learn feels and sounds a bit more rushed and calculated in comparison sadly. On Wounded Rhymes however I deeply love almost every track, and even though I enjoyed her 4th and 5th albums too, I really hope that we will go back and get more of that dark Wounded Rhymes magic with her 6th studio album. After all, one of her more recent releases, Midnight Shining, which is a scrap song from either her 2nd or 3rd album, shows that she is still in touch with that era herself. So something gloomy and sadcore and indie gritty would be cool, and it is in the cards apparently. After all, she recently revealed that her upcoming album is gonna be her trying rock and roll, but from a Swedish point of view, and I am through the roof to hear about that since I like rock and roll music a lot. On the other hand however, she also mentioned that the album will probably take another year from today until it is finished. So in case you are as much of a big fan of hers as I am and you don't have anybody to share it with, yes, the frustration is real. Feel free to sound off in the comments section and show me and all the other Lykke fans some love until we get LL6. Anyways, I really hope that her journey in music is far from being over and that she will reach new deserved heights with her 6th LP, whatever its title is going to be. Bye everybody, have a wonderful autumn season.